You did not land here by accident, and before you scroll away, hear this clearly, because the next few minutes may explain a feeling you have been carrying for longer than you admit. There is a reason one person keeps returning to your mind, even when you try to stay busy, even when you tell yourself to move on, even when silence stretches so long it should have erased everything by now. But it did not. It stayed. And that matters. Something inside you has been asking for a sign, for a message, for one clear moment that says you are not imagining all of this. This is that moment. Stay with me, because what feels confusing right now may actually be the truth pressing harder and harder against the walls you built to protect yourself. You have spent nights trying to act normal while your inner world kept speaking in a louder voice. You tried to call it longing. You tried to call it memory. You tried to call it overthinking. But what if it is none of those things? What if this feeling remains because it was never shallow to begin with? What if the reason it will not fade is because it reaches deeper than logic can touch? Do not skip this part, because once you see it, you may never look at this connection the same way again. Something real is moving, and your heart has known it long before your mind was ready to admit it. For a long time, you have carried this weight in private. You smiled when people looked at you. You answered messages. You handled daily life. But underneath all of that, there was still a quiet pull that never fully left. It followed you into the late hours. It rose in the middle of ordinary moments. It returned when a song played, when a place felt familiar, when a memory came back with no warning at all. And the hardest part was not the feeling itself. The hardest part was wondering if anyone would understand it without judging you. So you stayed silent. You told yourself to be rational. You told yourself to let time do its job. Yet time did not remove it. In some ways, it made it stronger. That is why you must stop treating this inner voice like a mistake. You did not invent this depth just to make your life harder. Something in you is responding because something in you recognizes meaning. There is a difference between a passing desire and a deep inner knowing, and your soul knows that difference even when your thoughts get afraid. Listen carefully here, because this matters. Not every bond changes you. Not every meeting wakes you up. Not every absence leaves behind this much truth. Some people enter your life and leave a memory. Others enter your life and unlock a part of you that had been asleep for years. When that happens, you do not walk away as the same person. And maybe that is why this has felt so intense from the beginning. This is why the connection has been so hard to explain. It is not just attraction. It is not just chemistry. It is not just timing, distance, or unfinished words. It feels deeper because it touches something ancient in you, something wordless, something you feel before you can describe it. Even when there has been silence, the silence has not felt empty. It has felt full, full of tension, full of meaning, full of things left unsaid but somehow still understood. That is what makes this different. Your mind wants evidence, clear steps, a neat story it can trust. But the heart often moves faster than thought, and deep recognition rarely asks permission from logic before it arrives. You may have tried many times to explain this away. Maybe you told yourself it was just attachment. Maybe you called it bad timing. Maybe you said you only missed the idea of them. But every time you tried to close that door, something inside you refused. The feeling returned. The awareness returned. The pull returned. That is not weakness. That is persistence with a purpose. Stay with this, because many people leave too early when life becomes unclear, and they never understand what the silence was trying to teach them. A real soul-deep bond does not just make you feel more for someone else. It makes you see yourself differently. It acts like a mirror. It shows you your wounds, your hunger, your fears, your strength, and the version of you that is still trying to be born. One of the strongest signs of a deep connection is not chaos. It is peace underneath the chaos. Yes, the situation may look messy on the outside. Yes, there may be distance, delays, confusion, and long periods with no answers. But underneath all of that, there is still a quiet knowing you cannot fully shake. And that quiet knowing is important, because fear is loud, ego is loud, panic is loud. But truth often arrives with a strange calm, even when everything else feels uncertain. Somewhere inside you there has been a steady voice saying, "This matters. Do not dismiss it too fast. That does not mean you are meant to lose yourself in waiting. It does not mean you should stop living your life. It means there is meaning here, and meaning should be handled with honesty, not denial. This bond has also been pushing you to grow in ways comfort never could. It has forced you to face the parts of yourself you used to avoid. The fear of being left, the fear of not being chosen, the fear of not being enough, the fear that deep love always ends in pain. These are not small things, and yet this connection has brought them all to the surface, not to destroy you, but to transform you. That is why it has stayed. It is not just about another person. It is about the person you are becoming because of what this connection woke up inside you. And if you are still here listening, that means some part of you already knows this is not a random chapter. It is a turning point, even if the full shape of it has not been revealed yet. Now, you may ask the question that has sat heavily in your chest for so long. If this bond is real, why the silence? Why the distance? Why the delay? Why would something meaningful come with so much uncertainty? These are fair questions, but not everything meaningful arrives in full form the moment it begins. Some connections enter your life as an awakening before they become a union. Some people appear not to stay immediately, but to start a process. A deep process. A painful one, yes, but also a necessary one. Sometimes life creates space, not to end what is real, but to prepare it. The pause is not always rejection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes two people feel something powerful before they are mature enough to carry it well. If they come together too soon, fear takes over. Old wounds take over. Pride takes over. And something beautiful can collapse under the weight of everything unhealed. So the distance becomes a strange kind of classroom. It teaches self-respect. It teaches patience. It teaches emotional strength. It teaches you how not to make another person the center of your worth. That lesson is not easy. It can feel cruel while you are inside it. But later, you may realize it saved the connection from becoming a cage. Listen closely, because this is where many people misunderstand the pause. They think silence means nothing is happening. But silence can be full of inner change. Silence can be the place where denial breaks. Silence can be the space where pride starts to lose its power, and what looks still on the outside may be shifting deeply underneath. While you have been changing, the other person has also been going through something, even if you could not see it clearly. Their path may not look graceful, it may not look spiritual, it may not look wise. In fact, it may look like avoidance, distance, confusion, mixed signals, or total shutdown. But people often hide the strongest feelings behind the thickest walls. What looks like indifference can sometimes be fear in armor. What looks cold can sometimes be someone losing a private battle with emotions they do not know how to manage. And this matters because their silence may not be proof that they forgot you. It may be proof that remembering became too intense to carry in the same old way. There comes a point when pretending stops working. There comes a point when someone gets tired of acting untouched by something that changed them. There comes a point when the pain of staying away becomes heavier than the fear of returning. That is the shift. And when that shift begins, it is not soft. It shakes a person. It removes excuses. It exposes pride. It forces honesty. This kind of inner collapse is not punishment. It is clearing. The false parts fall first. The masks crack. The old story stops holding. And what remains is truth. Maybe slow truth. Maybe delayed truth. But truth all the same. Do not leave yet, because what comes next is the heart of it. A real turning point does not happen because enough time passed. It happens because resistance finally gets weaker than the truth. And when that happens, movement begins in a way that cannot be ignored. You may already have noticed signs, not because you are searching too hard, but because they keep showing up on their own. A dream that repeats, a number that appears at strange moments, a sudden wave of memory that comes out of nowhere, a song that finds you at the exact second your thoughts drift there, a feeling in your body before your mind even catches up. These moments matter, not because every sign predicts a dramatic event, but because they draw your attention back to what your deeper self has been trying to tell you. Some signs stir peace. Others stir fear. Learn the difference. Peace usually comes with truth. Fear usually comes with control. One opens you. The other tightens you. One asks you to trust. The other demands certainty before you move at all. Your inner voice already knows the difference. You have felt it. There are moments when thinking makes everything worse, And then there are moments when you become still and suddenly everything inside you says, yes, this is real, even if I do not understand all of it yet. That kind of clarity is quiet, but it is strong. And if you have been receiving these signs again and again, maybe it is because life is trying to move you from confusion into recognition, not obsession, recognition, not fantasy, recognition. There is a big difference. This is your reminder not to betray your deeper knowing just because the outer world has been slow to confirm it. Sometimes the outside catches up after the inside has already known for a long time. But let this be clear. This is not a message to sit still and place your whole life on hold. This is not about anxious waiting. This is not about watching every hour for a text, a call, a return, or some magical proof. Real readiness is different. Real readiness means becoming emotionally strong enough to receive what you once wanted without collapsing back into old patterns. It means healing the part of you that was ready to beg for crumbs. It means releasing the bitterness that pain left behind. It means learning how to hold love without making it your only source of stability. If that person came back today, would you meet them from peace or from panic? Would you meet them from fullness or from fear? That is the question. Because if the same insecurities are still running the show, the same painful cycle can repeat even if the love is real. So your work has never been wasted. Every quiet day, every lonely night, every hard choice to choose yourself instead of chasing. Every moment you stayed with your own healing instead of trying to force an outcome. All of it mattered. All of it built the version of you that can finally hold something deeper without breaking under it. This is where the energy changes. The moment you stop trying to control the form, life can move more freely. The moment you stop writing the whole script in your head, space opens for something more honest to enter. And yes, that requires trust. Real trust. The kind that does not beg, chase, or panic. The kind that says, what is truly mine will not need me to betray myself to receive it. There is also something you must release if you want the next chapter to arrive cleanly. You must let go of the sharp edge of resentment. Not because what happened did not hurt. It did. Not because silence was easy. It was not. Not because confusion should be excused. It should not. But because carrying bitterness too long turns pain into a wall, and walls block what the heart is trying to welcome. Forgiveness does not mean saying the wound was acceptable. It means refusing to let that wound rule your future. It means seeing that even the absence shaped you, even the waiting sharpened you, even the unanswered questions made you stronger, wiser, and less willing to accept anything false. That growth is real. That strength is real. And it may be the very reason you are now closer to alignment than ever before. As things begin to shift, you may feel more energy around this connection, more signs, more emotional waves, more inner certainty. Stay grounded. This is not the time to lose your center. This is the time to protect the peace you fought hard to build. Because peace is not passive. Peace is power. Peace is what allows you to recognize the truth without running from it or clinging to it. Peace is what lets you receive love in its healthiest form. So breathe, slow down. Do not let excitement turn into desperation. Do not let old fear dress itself up as intuition. Watch carefully, feel deeply, but stay rooted in yourself. Because what is coming is not meant to pull you back into confusion. It is meant to meet you in your clarity. And when the turning point comes, it will not feel like a tiny hint you must painfully decode. It will not be a weak signal buried under games and excuses. It will carry weight. It will carry truth. It will feel direct. Because when someone has truly changed, their actions stop sounding like half promises and start carrying real presence. If they return, it will not be because they were bored. Not because they felt lonely for a night. Not because they wanted comfort without responsibility. It will come from something deeper. It will come from surrender, from honesty, from the breaking down of the old defenses that once kept everything trapped behind silence. A real return speaks differently. It carries humility. It carries clarity. It carries a willingness to be seen without the mask. And that kind of movement only happens after a deep inner shift. So if the moment is near, trust that it is not random. Life does not guide two people through memory, distance, tension, healing, awakening, and inner change for nothing. There is purpose in what has unfolded, even if you only understand it fully later. What has been preparing beneath the surface may soon become visible in a way that leaves little room for doubt. And if that happens, let yourself receive it without rushing to protect yourself from the very thing you once prayed for. Stay with me here, because this final part matters most. The biggest gift of this journey may not only be the return of someone meaningful. It may be the new version of you who is no longer willing to abandon yourself in love. So now stand at this edge with a calmer heart, not a numb heart, not a closed heart, a steady heart. You were never being ignored by life. You were being prepared by it. You were being shaped in the dark, lifted through the confusion, refined by every moment that asked you to trust your own growth. That is why you feel different now. Stronger, clearer, less willing to settle, more able to sense what is real and what is not. The pause changed you. The silence changed you. The ache changed you. And maybe that was always part of the deeper purpose. Because if this connection comes forward again, it must meet a version of you that can hold it with maturity, self-respect, and peace. No more shrinking. No more begging for signs while ignoring your own worth. No more chasing what needs to arrive freely. Let the next chapter find you grounded. Let it find you open but not desperate, hopeful but not lost, ready but not restless. Keep your heart clean. Keep your spirit steady. Keep your life moving. And if you have been waiting for one final message to hold on to, let it be this. What is real does not disappear just because it went quiet for a while. What is meant to return will return with greater truth. What is meant for you will not require you to betray your healing to receive it. Something is shifting. Something is nearing its moment. Stay in your peace. Stay in your power. And watch what begins to unfold next.